Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has formed a task force to rationalize the central government staff. Well, that is the big story that we'll be tracking. Also in the top international news, we'll be looking at the Syria peace process very, very closely. But let us begin with the headlines. Prime Minister sets up a 5-member task force to rationalize the central government staff. Team to submit report next month to recommend measures to optimize the senior positions in central government jobs. Delhi High Court slated to pronounce verdict in bail plea of JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar. 2 other students are charged with sedition sent to judicial custody. Enforcement Directorate gets go-ahead of special court in Mumbai to extradite former IPL Commissioner Lalit Modi from UK. ED to send extradition request to MEA. United Nations delays the Syria peace talks to allow cessation of hostilities to take hold. This as NATO warns of increased Russian activity in Syria. And India move into the final of the Asia Cup being played in Bangladesh. Men in blue register comfortable 5-wicket win over Sri Lanka. Well, the top story that we are tracking this hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has constituted a 5-member task force to rationalize central government staff and ensure their maximum optimization. The task force will be headed by Establishment Office and Additional Secretary in Department of Personnel and Training Rajiv Kumar, and it will submit its report next month. The proposal to constitute a task force has been done to align them with financial resources and focus areas of the government. The Minister of State for Personnel Jitendra Singh said that rationalization of staffs is of paramount importance for good governance. As per its terms of reference, the task force will take stock and recommend measures to optimize the senior positions in Government of India, covering the posts in the Secretariat and outside the Secretariat as well, including the Chief Vigilance Officers. The task force will also review roles and requirements of these posts, including eligibility criteria, and recommend measures to achieve a synergy and a convergence of purposes and resources. Remember, there are about 50 lakh central government employees working in various ministries. In other news, the government has said that it will consider demands for a possible partial rollback of its proposal to tax Provident Fund withdrawals. The government asserted that PPF, however, will continue to remain tax exempt. Well, a day after the 2016 Union Budget proposed taxing 60% of the withdrawal from EPF on contributions to be made after 1st of April, the government was hard-pressed to explain that the move was aimed at high-salaried class and not the overwhelming section of the 3.7 crore EPF members. Well, after a couple of clarifications, including one that said that government would only tax the interest and not the principal amount withdrawn, the government came out with a press note saying that it was considering demands to limit the tax only to interest accrued. Now, Revenue Secretary Hansmukh Adhia also said that demand for tax on interest component only would be taken into consideration while taking a final view on the issue. The tax proposals came under immediate attack from various employee unions, including the RSS-backed BMS and also the political parties, who termed it as an attack on the working class and a clear case of double taxation.
जो पब्लिक प्रोविडेंट फंड है, पीपीएफ है, उस पे ये जो नया टैक्स का स्कीम है लागू नहीं होगा. नया स्कीम ला रहे हैं वो ईपीएफओ यानी प्रोविडेंट फंड और एनपीएस के लिए लागू होगा. और इसमें भी ये सिर्फ गोइंग फॉरवर्ड यानी कि भविष्य के लिए होगा. जो आपने पहले किया है उस पे कोई टैक्स नहीं लागू होगा.
News coming in from Parliament, where the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday witnessed repeated adjournments due to slogan shouting by AIADMK members who wanted action against former Union Minister P. Chidambaram's son Karti. Now, Congress members raised the issue of a privilege motion against HRD Minister Smriti Irani.
Now, report of the committee.
A day after the union budget was presented, the upper house on Tuesday witnessed repeated adjournments. AIADMK members entered the well demanding action against former Union Minister P. Chidambaram's son, Karthi. Amidst the din, leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad raised the issue of privilege motion against HRD Minister Smriti Irani in the post-lunch session. While other opposition members supported the Congress, the government raised objections to the move.
Deputy Chairman to accept our privilege against Union HRD Minister. And it is not once she has misled the people of this country, in both the houses, in the Lok Sabha and also in the Rajya Sabha. This is a very, very serious charge against the HRD Minister.
और ये जल्दी से जल्दी प्रिविलेज जो है उसको आप स्वीकार करिए और इस देश में जो सब कुछ गलत चल रहा है उसका रास्ता निकालने का काम करिए। एक जो मिनिस्टर है वो किस तरह से गुमराह करता है पूरे देश को, इसलिए हम लोग ये जो इम्पीचमेंट प्रिविलेज मोशन है उसके समर्थन में हर सारे लोग हैं, सब लोग हैं।
आपके पास कोई तर्क नहीं है। अब जब तर्क नहीं है तो आप उतर देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। जहाँ तक सवाल है प्रिविलेज मोशन का, उसकी एक प्रक्रिया होती है, उसका एक नियम होता है, उसकी एक सिस्टम होता है। उसके तहत जो प्रिविलेज मोशन आपने दिया होगा या ऑनरेबल मेंबर्स और हैं उन्होंने दिया होगा, उसके बारे में चेयर डिसाइड करेगी।
Deputy Chairman Professor P.J. Kurin informed the House that the motion was under the Chairman's consideration.
Privilege motion has been received in the office. Yes, there is a procedure. There is a procedure. We have to comply with that procedure, and therefore the notice is under the consideration of the Honorable Chairman.
The Deputy Chairman also tried to take up the calling attention motion moved by the opposition and the discussion on motion of thanks to the President's address. However, with the protesting members of AIADMK not relenting, the House was adjourned till Wednesday.
House is adjourned till 11 a.m. on Wednesday, 2nd March 2016.
Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Well, the AIADMK has asked for a prime ministerial level inquiry into the alleged Karthi Chidambaram corruption issue. The proceedings were disrupted and Lok Sabha was also adjourned in the afternoon on Tuesday after continuous protest by the party members. Lok Sabha proceedings were disrupted twice during question hour on Tuesday after AIADMK members created uproar against Karthi Chidambaram over corruption charges. Demanding an inquiry, AIADMK MPs cited a media report which claims that the former finance minister's son has invested in real estate across the world.
The slow progress in investigation and trials relating to the former finance minister and the former DMK minister involved in Aircel Maxis scam gives an impression that there are forces in the NDA and various agencies of the government trying to dilute the former finance minister facilitated the Malaysian telecom giant Maxis to Aircel Telecom, possibly from Tamil Nadu businessman. Loot of the two former ministers had yielded several thousand crores illegal wealth to the families of those former ministers remain till today.
Speaker ma'am, we have assured them that if they move a substantive motion which is agreed by you, we will be ready to hold any discussion on the subject. And the point that they are saying that the government did not act, this matter is also, I believe, if I am not wrong, is under the supervision of the Supreme Court and the investigations are on. Government is not there to protect anyone who has done a wrong. No one is above law.
Earlier in the day, both the government and the opposition filed privilege motions against each other. BJP hit back in Lok Sabha by pressing for privilege motion against the opposition party's chief whip, Jyotiraditya Scindia, for defamatory remarks made against Minister Bandaru Dattatreya. Dattatreya has accused Scindia of maligning his image over the Rohit Vemula suicide case.
This after the opposition filed a privilege motion against Union HRD Minister Smriti Irani in both houses of parliament against allegedly misleading the parliament by lying about Rohit Vemula's suicide.
ये जो है रूल अंडर रूल 223 because Jyotiraditya Scindia, he has tarnished my image. He has tarnished my image because my request is, with the letter which I have returned to the HRD ministry, I have never mentioned Rohit's name.
The Speaker assured members that the notices for privilege motion are under her consideration.
Notices of question of privilege, Bandaru Dattatreya, Rakesh Singh, Ajay, Supriya Patel and Anupriya Patel and all others. The matter is under my consideration. So,
Lok Sabha was adjourned for the day after AIADMK members continued slogan shouting over the Karti Chidambaram issue. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
While both houses of parliament were stalled on Tuesday, Karti Chidambaram maintained that he has done nothing wrong. He told the media that all his business dealings were transparent and all fillings up to the date and complete. The Congress accused the government of orchestrating protests in parliament to divert attention from the privilege motion against Smriti Irani.
Embroiled in controversy over the Aircel Maxis deal, Karti Chidambaram, the son of former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, has denied any wrongdoing. Defending himself, he stated that all his businesses are legally compliant.
All my businesses are completely compliant with regulatory and statutory requirements.
The Congress leaders have accused the government of a political witch hunt. They even allege that protests by AIADMK members in Parliament had been organized by the government to save HRD Minister Smriti Irani.
This is basically political witch hunting and targeting Chidambaramji and his family. And this is an exercise which this government is well known for. I mean, what more do you expect from them?
ये डीएमके का कुछ नहीं है भैया, ये सिर्फ चाल है हमारे एनडीए का स्मृति ईरानी को बचाने के वास्ते.
The BJP, however, described it as a serious scam and called for a thorough investigation.
When we look into the seriousness of the scam, certainly it is a big scam in India, just like the earlier scams. And I think that it has been done at the behest of Chidambaram. That is what we say what we hear from the media and all that. So the ED is investigating the matter.
According to media reports, Karti Chidambaram has built a massive empire for himself through investments in real estate across the world. Documents of his financial dealings have reportedly been recovered in the raids carried out by the Enforcement Directorate in relation to the Aircel Maxis scam. Karti is alleged to have acquired a huge amount of wealth through his dealings between 2006 and 2014 when his father was the Finance and Home Minister. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on in the bulletin now, combating the menace of terrorism in order to improve cooperation among South Asian countries was among the thrusts during the three-day conference of Raisina Dialogue being held in New Delhi. While countries like Sri Lanka and Afghanistan said that the hostile relations between India and Pakistan are weighing heavily on stability in the region, India has laid stress on the need for connectivity between nations to improve trust and confidence in each other.
India has said that the spread of terrorism and violence inspired by medieval beliefs have disrupted connectivity, impinging economic growth of the South Asian region. Speaking at the inaugural session of Raisina Dialogue in New Delhi, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj said that modernization of connectivity besides an environment of trust and confidence were integral to growth and development.
In its most radical form, this emanates from the spread of terrorism, which has mutated to keep pace with the march of technology. As a result, we confront the spectre of cyber attacks, even as we struggle with violence inspired by medieval beliefs. Use or threat of use of force by nations in territorial disputes is another source of concern. Dissuasion and diplomacy are part of the answers in such situations.
The inaugural session was attended by former Sri Lankan President Chandrika Kumaratunga, former Afghan President Hamid Karzai, a host of diplomats, intellectuals and foreign policy experts, among others. Speaking on the occasion, Kumarotanga said that huge suspicion, mistrust and tension between nuclear-powered India and Pakistan have been causing devastating consequences in South Asia.
Our region has experienced the largest number of violent conflicts in the past half a century, as I mentioned earlier. On the other hand, this region is heavily militarized and comprises of two major nuclear powers. The risk of major conflict is immensely high. The huge suspicions and continuing mistrust between the two largest states of South Asia has caused devastating consequences for the entire region.
India has been pushing for improved connectivity among SAARC countries. A key pact to ensure better connectivity among the nations of the bloc could not be finalized in SAARC summit in Nepal last year due to opposition by Pakistan. Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai stressed on the need to tackle the spread of terrorism that is threatening the stability of the region.
The nature of relations between some countries in South Asia is a major factor adversely affecting security and prosperity of the entire region. At the heart of this predicament lies the use of militant extremism in pursuit of geostrategic gains. In this context, and in regards to relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan, our brotherly neighbor, while there is tremendous goodwill between the people of the two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan, unfortunately, the relations between the two governments, the government of Afghanistan and the establishment in Pakistan, is not conducive to integration.
The three-day conference of geopolitics and geoeconomics, the Raisina Dialogue 2016, is designed to explore prospects and opportunities of Asian integration as well as Asia's integration with the larger world. The focus this year is on Asia's physical, economic, digital connectivity and fostering common global spaces with an emphasis on Asia. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, a very short break in here. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, the bail plea of JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar comes up in Delhi High Court today. During the last hearing on Monday, the court had questioned Delhi Police's understanding of their main charge against Kanhaiya, that is the sedition charge, and asked police pointed questions about the evidence of his involvement in the anti-national sloganeering. Meanwhile, the other two JNU students charged with sedition have been sent to 14 days judicial custody.
The Delhi High Court will today pronounce its order on the bail plea of JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar in the sedition case. The court had reserved its order after nearly 3 hours of hearing on Monday, during which it had slammed the Delhi police asking, "Do you know really what sedition is?" This after the Delhi police accepted that there was no video evidence to suggest that Kanhaiya raised anti-India slogans during an event on JNU campus on 9th of February. The Delhi government supported the JNU student leader's bail, claiming that there was no proof against him.
दिल्ली सरकार दूसरे स्टेट्स में इलेक्शन आ रहे हैं, उसको देखते हुए बोल रही है। तक जो हमारे पास पर्याप्त है, आई विटनेसेस हैं जिन्होंने कहा है कि कन्हैया ने वहां नारे लगाए, अलगाववादी नारे लगाए और बाकी सब लोगों के साथ मिलके अनलॉफुल असेंबली में उसने भाग लिया।
The other two JNU students who have been charged with sedition have been sent to 14-day judicial custody. Umar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya were presented before the magistrate on Tuesday after the expiry of their police custody. They were arrested a couple of days after Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested for participating in the same event. Meanwhile, it has emerged that 2 of the 7 videos of the controversial JNU event that were sent by the Delhi government for forensic probe were allegedly manipulated.
इनोसेंट लोगों के ऊपर हमले होते हैं, कानून का एक गैर इस्तेमाल हो जाता है। ऐसे कोई भी स्थिति हो वहाँ प्रधानमंत्री कभी बोलते नहीं। इनकी मन की बात में इसमें उन्हें ऐसी इम्पोर्टेंट इश्यूज को जगह नहीं है।
The government has said that it is reviewing a section of the sedition law. The Ministry of Law and Justice has asked the Law Commission to study the usage of the related Section 124A of the IPC. The Home Ministry informed the Lok Sabha on Tuesday that the Law Commission has intimated that they have identified certain focus areas and formed a subgroup to deliberate on the issues. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday got a go-ahead from a special court in Mumbai to extradite former IPL Commissioner Lalit Modi from the UK in connection with its probe regarding money laundering. ED had placed a request before the court for extraditing Lalit Modi from the UK as its Interpol notice against the ex-IPL boss was yielding no result. The agency will now send this extradition request to the MEA, which will forward it to the authorities in the UK for a final execution. Modi is charged with several cases of alleged money laundering and forex violations connected to the IPL. The BCCI had filed a criminal case against Modi in 2010 in the same regard. And in the big international focus, the United Nations has delayed the Syria peace talks to allow the cessation of hostilities to take hold. Now, this comes in the wake of Syrian opposition alleging Assad forces of violating the truce. Meanwhile, NATO warned of an increased Russian activity in Syria.
Most importantly, when there are incidents, and there will be provocations, and there will be spoilers, wait for it, we are not seeing them yet. They are contained and unexamined and contained, so they don't become epidemical. Because then the credibility, which is the most important part of a ceasefire, collapses, and that we cannot afford.
Stakeholders in Syria making all-out efforts to secure a fragile truce. The UN delayed the next round of peace talks by 2 days to allow the cessation of hostilities to trickle in. Peace talks are now expected on March 9th. The US-Russia brokered cessation of hostilities began early on Saturday.
The solution of everything is a political solution. These are facilitating the political solution, but they are crucial. So we will be, in the next few days, analyzing how far both the ceasefire and the humanitarian access has come so that they don't become hostages of the talks and the talks don't become hostages of progress on that.
Syrian government and opposition continue to play the blame game as both accuse each other of violating the truce. For West and the US, Russia's military action is a major cause of concern. NATO commander in Europe said Russia, along with Assad, is making refugee crisis as a weapon of war. The US urged Russia to make sure that any strikes in Syria solely target the Islamic State or the Al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front.
The war against Daesh hits home particularly hard for our close NATO ally, Turkey, which shares borders with Syria and Iraq. And further complicating the picture, sharply divergent interests in Syria have created a deep tension between Turkey and Russia, and the risk of miscalculation or even confrontation remains high.
Meanwhile, raising tensions, Israel accused Assad forces of using chemical weapons against civilians since the beginning of the truce. Even when the war rages on in Syria, the World Peace Body marked the safe delivery of over 5,000 Syrian babies at the Zatari refugee camp in Jordan. It was first opened in 2013. 5,000th baby girl named Rima was born on February 21st. Over 3.8 million people have fled Syria since 2011, who had sought shelters in refugee camps. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Right now we have some breaking news coming in. Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is having a post-budget interactive session with representatives of Indian trade and industry associations at the Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi. Let's cut across.
Whale off. So it's a great facility which weaker sections of the country will have. I think it's the most ambitious health scheme which has ever been launched. Now we, on targeting of subsidies, which is probably one of the most important reform measures as far as this government has announced, and actually implemented in many areas, the impact of this, particularly the Give It Up campaign, has been that 75 lakh people have given up their subsidies on the LPG cooking gas. Many more are going to do so. There is a particular income group which has been disentitled as far as this subsidy is concerned. Using the DBT methodology, a lot of savings have been effected. Now that is being partly used for the benefit of the weaker section. So the bottom layer of 5 crore families over the next 3 years, their first connection is provided to them substantially at the government cost. And that not only helps them in terms of healthcare or in terms of environment, but also into the mainstream brings those segments of society. These are the welfare schemes which the budget itself has announced. I think if we look at the various other economic reform measures, and this is of particular interest to those who analyze budgets in terms of left versus right. In order to boost the economy, we already have two important legislations which are still pending in Parliament, the GST and the bankruptcy and insolvency law. Now, there are important steps which have been announced in this regard as far as the budget is concerned. Giving a statutory backing to Aadhaar and making it mandatory for those who want the benefit of any form of government subsidy or advantage. And therefore, wherever the funds of the government or the state governments comes in, they can make it necessary for you or compulsory for you to have this identification, because the same man doesn't claim the benefit 5 times over and the most deserving family gets the benefit. I think this is a very significant reform.
All right, moving on to some sports news now. And Team India stormed into the final of the Asia Cup tournament after recording a comfortable 5-wicket victory over Sri Lanka in the semi-final in Mirpur yesterday. Now, Virat Kohli's unbeaten half-century helped India to win the match.
And look at that, the same thing again. Half-century for Virat Kohli.
The ever-consistent Virat Kohli's unbeaten 56 of 47 balls once again proved instrumental in India's comfortable win against Sri Lanka to reach to the finals of the Asia Cup T20 tournament.
Always in control, India in the final of this Micromax Asia Cup, and Virat Kohli's played another brilliant innings.
This third straight victory ensured India a berth in the summit clash.
From 47 balls, Virat Kohli.
Kohli's knock helped India reach 142 for 5 in 19.2 overs after restricting Sri Lanka to 138 for 9 in 20 overs.
Has it passed? Yes, up goes the finger.
Giving him support was comeback man Yuvraj Singh. His 35 of 18 balls showing glimpses of the talent that made him a feared batsman a few years ago.
Bit off there, but it didn't matter, you know.
The pace battery of Ashish Nehra and Jasprit Bumrah bowled according to the script and justified the faith that captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni placed in them by electing to field first. Kohli had proved his mettle against Pakistan and Bangladesh too.
And will run away for 4.
When Mohammad Amir of Pakistan rattled India by taking early 3 wickets for 18 runs, it was Virat Kohli who took up the bat and proved decisive. Kohli made 49 runs in 51 balls, looking better than any other batsman. Not just Kohli, youngster Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah have also proven to be game changers for Mahendra Singh Dhoni. India have already defeated Pakistan and Bangladesh in their first 2 encounters. Now another formality for the men in blue remains with a match against the UAE slated for March 3. Bangladesh, that is second on the charts, has 1 match left in the series against Pakistan. Pakistan has 2 matches left and Sri Lanka has 1 more to go. With wins in all 3 matches played so far, Dhoni's men looked prepared to take on any challenge. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's all in this news bulletin. Thanks for watching.